You're listening to FAMcast, the For All Manakind podcast, with your hosts, the competitive spirit, Trey Simpson, our own devil's advocate, Tim Weber, and the hopelessly optimistic Trevor Jorgensen. This is FAMcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to FAMcast. This is episode 87. We had quite an interesting day today. We were blessed with another Resident Evil showcase. I'm sure if you caught the stream, you got to see Trey and I watch it live. That was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, Tim, the RE Master himself, was not able to join us, but that's why we're here now. So we can all get together and to talk about it. I am a little sad that you weren't able to watch it with us, Tim, because I know you and Trey are both huge fans of this series, and I know I'm not as deep into it because I didn't grow up with it, but I've definitely become, thanks to you guys, more of a Resident Evil fan over the years.
That's all that matters.
Even if I do get scared when playing them still, I'm still a fan. We're only 3 weeks away.
I know.
Like we're recording this, it's about a half an hour to midnight, and that means it's officially like 21 days.
It's funny because I told Trevor, I was like, hey, look, I can't do a podcast today because I have plans. I made plans after work, right? And then all this stuff happened after the showcase, and I kind of heard what was going on. I was like, well, I can cut this other thing down. I can make some time. We can do this. I can make time for this.
What's that Shannon Sharp meme? That's no problem.
It was a fun stream to watch, and it was pretty cool because it was we worked with Capcom, and we got to display it as an official Resident Evil stream, which was just really cool. They sent us a bunch of really cool assets to use. So who knows, maybe we'll show up in some highlight reel down the road, but that was just something that, I guess, the cherry on top of the stream, which made it really fun. So I'm trying to think where to even start. So we're 3 weeks away. Resident Evil Village, not 8, right? Which not was
8. Village,
which is kind of odd, right? And I feel like we can talk about it now. We were. I guess I won't go too into the details, but we're supposed to call it Resident Evil Village. That's how it shows up in all these game stores. That's how you'll see it listed on websites, or like official websites. You don't see it listed as Resident Evil 8 anywhere. Mm-hmm. But it's very specifically in Roman numerals in the title. Like, I mean, that's how it was with 7. You know, they had the 7 in Resident Evil. That's just so odd to me. Like it seems like they're very clear. Like, no, this isn't 8. Don't call it 8. But it is 8 because it's in the title. It's a secret,
right? But so I'm telling you, if they come out with another Resident Evil later on and it's called 9, I'm back. Then that was 8. like that's like. Yeah. What do you mean? Don't call it that. Like, that's what it is.
And I feel like that's there's no explanation behind it. Like, why isn't this 8? Like, I know with 7, like, it follows Ethan, and it's very like divergent from the rest of the Resident Evil story, other than, you know, at the end when Chris comes in and everything. But why not call it 8? I know we're not going to know. We probably won't know until they either announce an 8 or a 9. It just seems so odd.
It does. I'm okay. So here's the deal. Like, with me personally, I would be okay if it actually wasn't 8, right? I'd be okay if later on down the road we actually got an 8, because that means Ethan isn't special enough to get his own sequel, like direct sequel number. Okay, like you're not better than Chris. You're not better than Leon. Sit down. Okay, you just another protagonist we'll learn about who has a sub game after him. Okay, calm yourself. So I'm okay if that's the route we take this.
Right.
But it's so obvious that it is what 8, but it is. Like, why are you going to highlight these letters, but then say, no? Like, It just
I don't know, man. 8 Village.
No.
I don't know, maybe
Because 7 is called Biohazard, right?
Resident Evil
Yeah.
Biohazard
Re-
7.
which is so weird. Like, why? I don't know. It's just confusing.
Yeah,
We
it's
won't.
whatever.
So let's just dive into what they showed, right? So they kicked it off and started things with a new gameplay, or a new trailer, I guess, which showed some gameplay. There were some pretty big things in that trailer that were kind of eye-opening to us, and we'll just kind of we'll throw out pieces as we come along. I'll hold on to the one that comes to mind immediately, because that was the one that I think me and Trey were both like, we need to look at that
Wait a
after
minute.
this is done.
Yeah.
Now I'm very curious what you're talking about.
Well, the one I'll start with. So the guy with the hat and the glasses, right? He seems to be the younger brother of Lady Demetrius at this point.
Is that what we're assuming?
So
That's what we're assuming, yeah.
That's kind of what I
Yeah.
thought from the get-go, because I know like the first thought was, oh, well, maybe her brother was that one dude from 7, but I'm like, it's probably someone from this game. And I would
Yeah.
agree
Yeah.
that you guys are right, that it's that dude.
because she
'Cause, yeah.
mentions on the phone with Lady Miranda, like, Ethan got through my brother's games or something like that, or and then you see him and he seems like a very like
Jolly.
like a showman kind of thing, like
Right.
he's
Yeah.
he's I forget what he said specifically, but like,
Let's
welcome to
play
the
the
games,
game. Or welcome to the games, or some
yes.
shit like that, yeah.
ladies and Lycan, or gentlemen and Lycan, something
Lycan.
like that.
Yes.
Lycans
yes.
and gentlemen, or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So I think that's the working theories that, and there is some symmetry there, having this family, as thinking back to 7, where they also had that family dynamic. So definitely an interesting parallel with 7 going into 8. Tim, we haven't heard from you yet. What's something that stood out from the trailer for you before me and Trey jump into the one that's kind of on our minds?
I mean, I guess I could say this. I mean, it was one of the first things that I noticed. That, well, first the whole Lycan thing kind of confirms, because Lycans are werewolves, right? Like,
Yes.
the type, right? So it kind of confirms that. So immediately when he said Lycans, I was like, okay, so we got werewolves. So we had that, but I mean, if I'm being dead honest with you, like the first big was the little bit about Chris, how it seems like he's definitely in the village. Chris is definitely relevant during the game more than just at the beginning, to where it's like he's almost keeping tabs on Ethan throughout what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was an immediate thing. Like, so Chris is there. Chris is clearly using Ethan. It's absolutely, they're using Ethan 100% to do whatever they're trying to do. Ethan has a role in whatever Chris's plan is, and it has to deal with him with what's going on.
That line he said, where he was like, I'm surprised you made it this far. It'd be a shame if you stopped
Yes.
here or something like that.
Yes.
I
And
was
then
like,
Ethan
damn,
was like, do it. Just get that over with and kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Pop, pop.
Yeah. And I still think Mia, there was I still think that wasn't Mia.
Yeah.
Chris doesn't kill Mia. Chris, I mean,
Yeah.
that's completely out of character.
It's-
Because Mia's
either that-
dead. Mia died in Resident Evil 7. There's no way she got out of what happened with Evelyn.
Which is more likely, that not being Mia that Chris killed, or that not being the real Chris that killed Mia, the real Mia?
That's true.
I think I'm still leaning that's not the real Mia.
Didn't someone say last time that like one of the theories was a Chris clone?
That was me. I
Okay.
said it was a Chris clone.
I could see it being a Chris clone.
And I said it was a Chris clone. What was the reason for cloning? Because of Resident Evil 6. And Resident Evil 6, Ada was cloned, and it was almost a perfect clone of her. And they were using her to go terrorize things, making it seem like it was Ada who was doing it. That's why I said it could be a big clone thing. So yeah, I mean, it could be a Chris clone, but I don't think if it was a clone of Chris doing these things, God, I just want to know. There's so many things like that this could be.
I mean, you guys are deeper into the series, like I said. So to me, just knowing what I know of Chris, that this doesn't seem like the Chris we know. Like he seemed very, I don't know. There's something. Would you agree or disagree? Knowing more about these characters.
Resident Evil 1 through 5 Chris, I agree with. Resident Evil 6 Chris was a very different, darker Chris. Like he got into alcohol, like he became a drunk. So he was a bit darker. And then at the end of it, the person who kind of pulled him out of that part of his life, that bad part of his life, wound up dying, saving him. You know, so like that could really mess with you. And I think it is. If I was to say anything, I think that's Chris. I think the Mia was a clone or was something, and that Chris knows about it, and he's using Ethan to try to find the bigger source here. Because I think Chris is done. Like in terms like he's done messing around. At this point, he's gonna do what he has to do to figure out what the hell's going on, and that's just where it is. Like when you go down the rabbit hole that he went through, at some point you just kind of go over.
Just get rid of Umbrella.
He's just done.
Right?
Yeah, he's just done.
That's why I want to know more about this new Umbrella.
Yes, have we seen much about it?
Nothing. Not a single thing. We've not seen that blue Umbrella logo anywhere since the end of 7. So I'm actually kind of surprised this wasn't the first mention you made. And I'll let Trey kind of talk more about this, but the scene that caught our eye was the factory, like that laboratory.
Factory.
Did you not catch that?
How quick did it go? Because maybe I missed it.
It was like a couple seconds.
It was a couple seconds. There's a
secret laboratory in a Resident Evil game. Is it underneath the mansion?
That's probably
most likely.
There's like an assembly line of like people, like they're dangling there.
Yeah.
And
yes, I remember that scene. Yes.
Yeah, so that definitely caught our eye like right away because it's very separate from
I think he's had an epiphany.
the Gothic castle look.
Resident Evil FMA crossover. They're about to put they're about to put
Tim.
It's not gonna happen. But they're going to use the stone and give them life like they did in FMA. That's what happened.
You want to go into some of the theories we kind of talked about on stream, Trey, since Tim wasn't there?
Let me hear them.
Okay, so we are thinking. I mean, we already went over the little brother for Lady Demetrius.
Okay.
I think that our next one was we're thinking that they're using the factory to either make the maiden's blood wine thing, or they're using that factory to make the werewolves or the lichens, I should say. Sorry.
So we know that these witches make this wine out of man blood, like the blood of men. They harvest that and make it into wine somehow, and that's what they do. Whatever. I don't know how long they've been alive, or we know that this has been going on for a long time. But
that's a very important thing.
Yeah, because
how
the maiden
long has
demo
it been
was
going?
Yeah, the maiden demo is super old.
Yeah,
But
the maiden demo was set in like the 1800s.
So here's why that's important. And I'll have to go back through 5 because they have the whole history log of a lot of the stuff in Resident Evil 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it all comes down to that flower you actually find while you're playing in Resident Evil 5. Like that's where the start of at least the T virus came from,
virus.
right? Yeah. So that's where that's where Resident Evil, in terms of what happened there and how Spencer got a hold of things and did all this, started. So if this predates that, if whatever they're doing predates that means we're looking at something that's completely different than what we've seen in terms of bioweaponry. If it's a bioweaponry, and here's the thing, I really want it to be bioweaponry. I don't want this to be witchcraft. Like this, the series isn't about witchcraft.
You want there to be science behind it.
There that's the series.
Yeah,
like
that's what we're saying.
That's the series. So there has to be science behind it.
Yeah, so I think it could be twofold, kind of like what we were saying. They're either using this process to maybe more effectively harvest this blood, or they are using this to take these villagers, perhaps, or wherever these humans come from, and turn them into
draining the blood. and then making them into Lycans.
Yeah, so it's either one of the two or both combined. Like they're either draining them for the blood, turning them to the werewolves, or a little bit of both. Who knows?
I could see all of that. Actually, I agree with under that. Like either one of those theories, I can completely see. I mean, it would make sense. Like all of them would make sense. Like what was it? Blade, great example. Blade, the movies. I think it was number 2 or maybe it was 3. One of the two. You see basically a giant refrigerator there. They keep people alive for their blood. So so I feel like it's the same kind of concept. Like you just have this factory of rotating things, so you don't need to worry. Like I could agree with this statement. Yep.
It'll be that was the first time that we had seen the sciencey side with like it. I'm sure if you think back to playing like Resident Evil 1 for the first time and you're just going through this old mansion, but then it's kind of it's shocking to discover this like pristine modern lab, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of that same feeling almost.
Yeah.
You see this Gothic castle, and then all of a sudden there's this weird people factory. It'll be excited to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, which Chris clearly knows. Chris clearly knows something. Like,
well, if he's involved with New Umbrella, we still don't know if New Umbrella is good or bad. So is New Umbrella involved in this? Is it Old Umbrella that's making a comeback? I don't know. The Umbrella logo is very clearly on that pedestal, though.
Yeah, I mean, you see it in the Maiden demo too.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna really spin off here for a second. Is the Chris that we saw in Resident Evil 7 not the Chris that we're seeing in this game? The Chris from Resident Evil 7 is the clone because he doesn't really look like the same Chris in this game.
Yeah,
and the new Chris is trying to do things to track down to make the clone Chris come and find Ethan because they're finding all these things. This is how old Chris is going to find clone Chris by using Ethan as bait at this new place that he knows the clone Chris is going to go to because the stuff's going down with Ethan. This way, old Chris can get revenge on New Umbrella because they have the New Umbrella and they want Chris to be part of it because Chris is a cool guy. So if people think Chris is part of this umbrella, they're going to think this umbrella is good, but it's really not good. That's why old Chris is going to go and track him down and take down New Umbrella because new Chris is actually a bad guy trying to take over old Chris's life.
Hope everyone caught that because he lost me like a few sentences into that.
That's the new theory, and I'm just sticking to it.
That is honestly impressive that you're able to take that as long as you did. That's hilarious. Good,
but you
good
could be
theory,
right,
Tim.
I mean, you could be right. I still think Ethan works for Umbrella.
Like the Umbrella that we know, or some new form of
Umbrella proper.
I agree that Trey is onto something with Ethan is definitely a bigger part of this than just a random person. Absolutely. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's part of Umbrella or Tricell or whatever, one of the two major companies there, right? And maybe he just forgot. You know, I mean, it's a world of science.
Did they MIB him?
Right. They MIB'd him. He forgot. And we'll figure because clearly he didn't know, or we didn't really, when he was going through 7, he found out about Maya, right? And I think he was shocked, but at the same time, you really don't get like that much emotion from him about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Trey's right in the sense that he's bigger than what people realize right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why New Umbrella Chris came to help them out because and that Chris knew who Ethan was.
Yeah.
So,
right. I mean, so there could be like the red umbrella that does more of like the sciencey stuff, you know, and then there's the blue umbrella that's more of like the military search and rescue kind of people, right?
Who knows? Yeah, they could have split up into.
So that's what I'm saying. I think Ethan is technically like a scientist with Umbrella, and like since his wife or whatever, I forget what we're calling her now at this point in the game, but Mia was a part of like she was part of like the terrorist group, right? In 7 that was like helping with like the bioweapons or whatever, or no?
Mia was on the boat shipping Evelyn when Evelyn decided to break out and found the family.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so she was in charge of shipping bioweapons, more or less, or maybe not in charge, but she was part of that crew.
Maybe she was part of Umbrella as well.
Yeah.
And then it leads to more things of like, we're seeing it from the side of this is just a dude who's going to go rescue his wife.
Correct.
But it's Ethan being a part of Umbrella, saving another experiment, or he is a bigger scientist than we think, because the name Ethan Winters
is
in Umbrella files. I forget what game it is. Was it 7?
It might have been 7. I can't. I'd have to go back and look.
It was either.
I thought someone said it was 5.
I think it may be 5. But he is on the list of scientists that work for Umbrella, or at least that name, Ethan Winters.
Yeah.
So I think he's Umbrella.
I absolutely agree that he is part of something when it comes to these bio. And another thing that caught my eye about the trailer was how many times, at least towards the end, they brought up his name. He is known.
Ethan.
Yeah. He is an important person somehow in this 2-part series that we are getting. This person, Ethan Winters, is an important individual. He knows something, or he is behind something, and we will hopefully find out what that is in this game.
You know what? Okay.
Here it is. Yes.
No. That just kind of sparks something, right? We've never seen his face.
No, we have not.
What if Ethan Winters is actually someone for like that, like we've seen in that? Like, what if it's like
third Chris Redfield?
Chris Yellowfield. We have Bluefield, Redfield,
Bluefield,
and we got Greenfield. Yep.
It's Wesker's illegitimate son.
No, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Not him.
It's him. It's confirmed.
Wesker was a perfect antagonist. Let him die.
It's odd that we haven't seen his face though, right? Like
it depends. So yes, I agree. It is odd, but it also could have just been a way for them to make the series more scary again, because the FPS doing it how they did it absolutely made it more scary.
You are Ethan,
right?
But even
definitely, Ethan.
Even in like promo art and concept art, like there's nothing there. Like his face just isn't there.
Yeah, they always black out his face and stuff.
Yeah, it's just that's a very point. That's a very specific thing to do. I don't know.
Except for like modders and like people who figure out how to get to the game, like they back out the camera and they're like, "That's Ethan."
Right.
So
I'm very curious. I think that's the big question. I think everybody wants to answer it is, who is Ethan?
Yeah.
Yeah. The one other thing, because I know they showed off a few other things, but one other thing from the trailer I wanted to bring up was at the end when you do see Chris show up again, that person in like that military gear kind of has that gun to Ethan.
Yes.
Do you think that's someone that we've seen before, or do you think that's just like another merc working with Chris?
I think it's another merc with Chris.
Just like a no one.
Familiar,
I would agree it's another merc working with Chris, right? Now they also seem slender, so if it was somebody working with Chris, I mean, it could be a Jill, right? Like, but at the same time, I think Jill's well known, like to where she doesn't need to hide herself or someone like that. Like, no one needs to hide her. But at the same time, if you want to make a big reveal, how do you make a big reveal? But she also was hidden behind a mask in 5, so why do that again? So I think it's just another merc working with Chris. I would agree that that's probably the route it would be. Though it would be super freaking cool to see Jill and Chris like teaming up again to just get this shit done. Like that would, because those two, like, they've been through a lot together. Like Jill basically sacrificed her life for Chris in when they went to the Spencer estate to confront Wesker, right? So like, I would love to have a game where those two are like, they're not really part of a group. Like, Chris went off to be the BSAA and Jill kind of just went off and did her own thing. And I would love to see those two like team back up and not necessarily form a group, just going to go get shit done.
Sure. Yeah.
I would just want to know, honestly, I just want to know the state of everybody else that I love.
Yeah.
Where are they at this point?
Where are they now?
In that same boat.
Where are they now? Yeah.
Yeah. So beyond the gameplay trailer, the next thing they announced was Mercenaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was super hyped about that.
A new gameplay mode that I didn't they made it sound like they had already teased it before, but I don't remember them like announcing it prior.
It's been in previous games before.
Mercenaries is in a lot of other games. It started off in Resident Evil 3, which is why everyone was disappointed that it wasn't in the remake. And then it was in Resident Evil 4. It was in Resident Evil 5. It was, I think maybe it was in Resident Evil 6, or maybe it wasn't. I can't remember. Mercenaries is like one of the most fun modes in Resident Evil. It's a blast because,
it's a good time.
especially if it's anything like it was in the previous games, like first of all, to get like the really like the hand cannon, for example, in Resident Evil 4, the only way to unlock it is to get an S rank on every mercenary level with every character that you unlocked, and it was not easy. It was very difficult. So it gave you something to shoot for, and like it's just a fun time. It is
so that's what you're going to be doing, is getting S rank and all with all the
Oh,
characters.
because you know they're going to have achievements for it. You
Right.
know they are.
Yeah,
I can't not go for them.
Yep. That'll be fun. I'm excited to watch you and Trey go through all this.
Now I know it's probably only gonna be single player, which is the only downfall, because I know in Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil, I can't remember if they had it in 6, but I assume if they did, it was co-op. Revelations had it, so I'm sure it'll still be fun. Like Resident Evil 4 and 3 were single player mercenaries, and it was a blast.
Yeah,
so it'll be a great time.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty cool. It seems like it's just like a fun arcade style challenge mode kind of thing. So
it's a mode they didn't necessarily have to add. We weren't expecting it anymore because it just hasn't been in a game for so long, that it's nice to see making a comeback.
Yes,
for sure.
6 had mercenaries. Sorry, I had to look it up. It was bothering me.
You said it was
6 had mercenaries. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay. Nice. The next thing they announced that I think people had already data mined previously was the announcement of the demo. So they had said that they would have a gameplay demo for all platforms down the line, because previously it was just the maiden demo for PlayStation.
Yeah.
So now we're getting a proper gameplay demo, but PlayStation still does get early access, luckily. So actually, this Saturday, it's an 8-hour window that you only get to play 30 minutes in.
Right.
Which is, I don't know, these time demos are so, I don't know, it's an odd approach. I'm not sure what like if someone wanted to play 30 minutes like over and over again or something like that, I don't see why they'd stop you from that. But I don't know. It'll be cool to.
If it's going to be like the full build of the game and you have 30 minutes to get as far as you can,
right?
Like that'd be kind of weird, but like
speedrun anyone?
Yeah.
Right. So it'll be cool because this weekend is the village demo.
Yep.
Next Saturday is the castle demo, and then the weekend after that is a full 60-minute demo for all platforms. To where you get an hour and you get to choose how you want to spend your time. Do you want to spend 30 minutes in both? Do you want to spend 60 minutes in just one or the other? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
My PS4 Pro and my PS5, so I can do an hour for both.
There you go. Hopefully hopefully it counts that way and it doesn't just like tie to your PSN and it's like right.
That, or I'll just do it on Steam or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Steam would be a great way to do it separate.
Or Stadia. Yeah. That's another thing I was shocked about, is seeing
Xbox.
it on Stadia. Yeah.
You got quite a few ways to play this demo.
And I will say, like, I watched it and the game looks good and everything. It really, I mean, at least if it's anything like the maiden demo, like seeing it on YouTube was nothing like experiencing on the PlayStation 5 itself. Like, holy cow, did that maiden demo not look beautiful on the PS5? Like, it was nuts how good that game looks.
Yeah, we booted it up on the new TV and it was insane.
Yeah, because this is your first. We
turn off
for you.
Yeah, we turned off all the lights and started it up on the new OLED.
Mm-hmm.
And man, the blacks get super dark,
Mm-hmm.
like it is true black. So we're in that dungeon area. It's terrifying.
It's beautiful because it just makes every other color just pop so well. You get like the fire and like the torches.
Yep. And I saw today they announced that on the next gen consoles you'll be able to either do 4K 60 FPS or 4K 45 FPS with ray tracing turned on.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. Normally you only get 30, so it more of a balanced approach there, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see which one I want to play. I'm not sure yet.
It's hard to get over frames, man.
It is.
Frames
it really is.
Like everything.
We booted that up with Spider-Man and just how smooth everything is with the 60.
because it's funny because there's like we did the 60, like we did the performance mode, 60 FPS plus HDR or something like that, and then
they have like a balance to where
and then we switch it over to
you basically don't get ray tracing.
Yeah, and then we switch it over to the quality mode or whatever, and the performance with HDR looked so much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just that smoothness, man. It's hard to it's hard to deny that for sure. Moving into what else they announced, so we had the gameplay demo, Mercenaries.
Yep.
What else?
Are you forgetting the super awesome, fantastic one that threw me for a loop? The Resident Evil 4 VR.
Well, that was like their last one too, but
I was like, I heard someone text me that, and I was like, wait, hold up, what? Yeah.
I didn't want to spoil anything.
I was jumping for joy at work when I got that confirmation.
I'm sure.
Because Resident Evil 4 is like my second favorite Resident Evil game in the series, and I played it on every system that it's come out that I've gotten my hands on, which is, by the way, a lot for like whatever 10. Freaking reason. Yeah, they just keep popping. I'm pretty sure we looked it up. It's on more systems than Skyrim, if that lets anyone understand where that game's out. So to hear that it's coming to the Quest 2 specifically, which I did just so happen to get a couple months ago, I'm stoked. Like, because especially I can only assume it's a full game. Like, why would they not?
Yeah,
why would it not be the full game?
Yeah.
That's a full length game.
Yeah.
In VR. I am super.
Did they give any time frame for a launch? I don't remember.
No, they said find out more. I think it was April 24th.
Oh, that's
when
right.
They do an Oculus event thing.
That's right.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, because that leads into the other collab, because that's when they got into all the collaborations that they're doing.
Yes.
With Dead by Daylight was the other one.
Yes, this is another one.
Which I feel like after they've worked with so many franchises now, whether it's movies or they've done Silent Hill, Stranger Things, like Resident Evil just makes sense, right?
So happy.
It's a perfect time, great way to celebrate the 25th anniversary. And we find out sometime in May during their, I think it's their 5th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that, to where they'll announce more. But it'll be cool to see who we get as survivors, who we get as killers. If you could only get one of each, if you could only get one of each, who would you want?
Okay, Leon as a survivor for sure, because that's my boy in the series. Like, Leon's everything to me when it comes to Resident Evil.
That's a given.
Killer is tough because I'm really there's 3 that honestly come to my mind, and one of them is not Nemesis, and the reason being is like, I mean, look, I love Nemi, but like he's too technologically like advanced. Like, you want to shoot a rocket at somebody, right? So, but in terms of like pure horror, there's 3 that come to my mind, and the first one is a Tyrant, because that's OG Resident Evil bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so just OG Tyrant. Okay. He has the giant claw arm. He can charge at people. Like, you know, he could break pallets with that. You know, I've already thought in like the mechanical process, right?
Yeah.
The other one would be Mr. X, almost solely just because the easiest thing they could do to make him work is the footsteps instead of a heartbeat. Like, because when someone's getting close to you in Dead by Daylight, your heart starts bum bum.
Sure.
Bum, 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 bum. So instead of that, or like the one girl sings as you hear her get close to you. Mr. X has a giveaway, and it's just you're gonna hear them feet pounding as they get close to you. I think that would be fantastic. And he kind of is he is a tyrant, so he kind of could fill both of those roles anyway. The third. And I'll make my decision. But the third thought process was, and it's going to sound kind of weird because it's just a normal enemy, but I think a Licker would be really neat.
That was my choice.
Stays low to the ground, super fast, has this tongue that can grab a survivor. And like, I feel like that could be a very unique enemy, something that's not, because Dead by Daylight, most of their enemies are very large and overbearing, as to where a Licker wouldn't be like that. It'd be very more stealth-like. So it would be cool. But if I had to choose between the 3, personally, I think I would like to have the OG Tyrant. I would like to see the OG Tyrant represented more in things. Like, everyone loves Mr. X, I get it. Everyone loves Nemi because Nemi's just a badass. But I would love to see 25th anniversary OG Tyrant.
Yeah, it fits the anniversary celebration the best, I think. What about you, Trey?
Joe and Nemesis, just because that's my favorite game.
Easy enough.
I'm not gonna put a story behind it, but it seems like Jill's like the first character you play through in Resident Evil. Yeah. Give her that costume, or even give her Resident Evil 3 costume. And then Nemesis, of course, just because he can also grab from far away. He doesn't necessarily have to have his rocket launcher. He can just be, a little bit quicker. Maybe have a shoulder charge or something like that. Either way, he's got his tendrils and he can just grab people. I don't know. He's just badass. And being able to hear just like stars, like while you're while you're fighting, that's terrifying. That's already enough. Footsteps is cool, but yeah.
Yes, no, that's true. That's true. I mean,
Footsteps is cool, but then adding in the stars, like when he's nearby, is like also terrifying.
It is, or you just hear him break through something.
Yeah. Here's breathing instead of a heartbeat or something.
If we get Nimmy, please don't give us trash bag Nimmy. Give us like OG Resident Evil 3 Nimmy. That would be my only ask.
I'm sure it would probably be OG Nimmy. Mr. X would be cool though.
I could see them adding Jack as well. I could see. I think he fits kind of that aesthetic.
He fits it. I get it, but
I'm just throwing out all like possible options here. Like I could see them throwing him in as a killer for sure.
Jack has a second life in Reverse. Let him live there. Give us more Anniversary.
And I guess he wasn't in Mastermind. I thought he was. Who was in Mastermind? That was just.
They had Nimmy. They had Tyrant. They had Mr. X.
I don't know.
Nemesis, Mr. X.
They had some plant thing. I can't remember who it was.
Jack.
Wait, was Jack in
Reverse?
No, not Reverse. He's talking Mastermind.
I didn't play that game,
whatever the other one was.
Oh, Resistance.
Resistance, yeah.
Sorry. Anyways,
but I digress.
Yeah. I think the last thing, unless I'm missing something super important, was the Infinite Darkness trailer.
Yes.
Which is coming out in July, which is super soon. Did not expect that, and it looks really good. That first trailer actually looks like it'll be really cool.
They're all good. There's all the CGI ones are very good.
They're really, really fun to watch.
Did they say it's going to be a movie or a series?
It's a series.
It is a series.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh, it's a series. So it's not a movie. It's that's even better because then it's going to probably be more than an hour and a half. So I'm good with this.
Interesting.
They said it was a series.
I'm okay with that.
And they also confirmed the wrap up of the Resident Evil movie filming. They're working on the CG.
They're working
on the creatures right now. So excited for that.
Yeah,
can't be worse. Yeah. That's the way I look at it.
I mean right now the bar's pretty low, so
there basically is no bar.
Yeah. It'll be cool. I mean, technology's come a long way since they've done this, so who knows?
I mean, like even in the first movie, like the very first Resident Evil movie, I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah,
they did a really good job on like the zombies and everything.
Doesn't Nemesis cry in one of them?
Nemesis, okay, in Resident Evil 2, they brought in the whole Raccoon City thing. And you know what? They were doing okay with Nemesis. He was what he was, and I was okay with him. You're watching the whole thing, you're like, this is cool, I'm okay with it. Then you find out who he came from, and then Nemesis like looks at Alice and was like, wait, I know you inside. He's like, I'm gonna help you now, and becomes like a good guy. I'm like, okay,
it's stupid.
Okay. I have feelings, okay, for this stuff. I am sorry.
Yeah, that's fair. It was a good showcase.
It was
a really good showcase.
It was a fantastic showcase. I got things I never thought I would ever get. I never thought in a million years I was going to get a Resident Evil 4 VR. That wasn't on my radar ever. Yeah. Like, it just wasn't even ever a thought. Like, I thought maybe I'd get Resident Evil 8 confirmation, or I'm sorry, Resident Evil Village confirmation that it's going to be in VR, but they're going to hold, it's going to. I almost guarantee it will, and they're going to hold off until PlayStation shows off their VR stuff coming whenever that's going to be.
It'll
guarantee
a launch title for their new headset. Yeah, and I can see that for sure.
Yep. Absolutely, and that is when I'll buy the PlayStation VR headset.
With as many headsets as Resident Evil sold, it only makes sense to launch your new headset with Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village.
It's Resident Evil 7 was and probably is still one of the best VR gaming experience you can have, period. No, I mean, other than like Half-Life Alyx,
I would say Half-Life Alyx is probably up there.
Yep, those two easily headset sellers, and one of them is on a far less superior system for VR, and it is still one of the best experiences you can have in VR. Yep. That's how good that was.
Yeah, definitely. Now it's just a matter of waiting 3 weeks.
It's gonna be a long 3 weeks.
It'll be nice because they're, we have 3 weeks. Then it sounds like quite a bit of content in Village, right? Like we don't know how long the game actually is, but we know that there's at least replayability with mercenaries, and there's Reverse, which they didn't really show anything. They just kind of reiterated that you get it for free when you purchase. So no additional info there, but if that continues, then that's it. I don't know. It'll kind of lead right into this Netflix series, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. It's a nice couple months of Resident Evil content.
Absolutely. I mean, this has just been a great time.
When they were showing off the DVD stuff, at first I was like, "Oh god, here we go. They're gonna announce this BR. I'm ready to go. Let's do this."
Yeah,
like Capcom's has been listening to us.
But that would have been fantastic. But that's another thing. I wasn't expecting a DVD crossover with Resident Evil.
No, me neither.
But I was stoked. Give me a reason to go back there. We about to have DVD streams all the damn time because I'm gonna be the killer constantly, wrecking some fools as whoever I get to be the killer.
Yeah, that's one thing that Anna said that the first thing she saw that she's like, yeah, more DVD fam nights. I was like,
that's right. Absolutely, 100%.
Do that for sure. We'll get everyone in.
That would be a good time. And look, I played Reverse. Okay, I played it. And it was fun. The maps are really small, but I think it's given because of the amount of people you're playing. I think there's only 6, and it's one. It's a free for all, which I would like to see them implement other game modes than just a free for all. Like I'd like to see teams and stuff. It has potential. I'm not going to sit here and say it was the best thing I ever played because I mean it is what it is for a free game. There's no complaining there. They just got to support it. It had server issues. There's definitely some latency stuff. Not terrible. Definitely some balancing issues. But it has potential. It really was fun. Like when you get enough of these vials and I got to turn into Nemesis and just go run over people, like it was a good time. Like it was very, very fun. They got to support it. That's anytime they launch these side-by-side games, like, hey, if you buy this, you get it for free. They don't support the free game. And like the Resistance, they supported by adding more content, but not fixing the game.
Yeah.
It's great that you're adding this content and giving people more things to play. No one's playing it because they can't play it because it's laggy, because, latency is a big issue. I'm trying to set a trap and it won't set, or, my bullet, there's problems there. Fix that first.
Yeah. I'm thinking, with the issues that we had last year, I think companies are starting to realize how important netcode is, especially Capcom. So I'm hoping, these new games that are coming out will have a hell of a lot better netcode because it's so important, especially in this day and age when we're so, so separated and, we are playing these games from home. Obviously there's no like competitive Reverse or whatever, but
maybe I'm okay.
Right. Like in the case of there, possibly being, and we do, have those face-to-face tournaments or if it has to be online because of COVID, it has to have good netcode. And I think a lot of these companies are getting into that.
Yep.
Or hopefully they're realizing that.
So good time. Reverse. Good idea. It was fun. Had a blast with it. Played it more than once. Just support it. That's all I'm asking.
Yep. Support it. Throw in some new enemies or some new boss types.
And just keep the latency down. Make it work.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, and I think that's I know the beta definitely struggled with some issues keeping it online and everything, but I was telling Trey like that's why they have the beta, so this kind of stuff doesn't happen when it's launched. So it's stuff that I'm sure that they're aware of and they're working on it, so it's good in the next 3 weeks. So
yeah, and look, I know it's not as easy as just do it. I'm sure there's a lot more to it that I don't know what goes into it. But if you want your game to survive, if you want your game to succeed, because I can only imagine this game isn't made by the people who make Resident Evil Village. It's made by like some other side company. It would be a guess, but I'd assume it's a pretty good guess. I want them to make this, and I want them to be proud of what they made and know that it's fun. And I want it to succeed for their sake, because I would love more content like that. Because the issue that my fear is these games keep failing, like Resistance and this Reverse, and they keep failing, and they're failing for the wrong reason. But because they see they're failing, we're never going to get our Resident Evil BR. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I want to happen. I need these other games to succeed so they see the potential that this could happen.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they're all stepping stones for you.
Yes. Give me what I want. I want to be plugged into the matrix of Resident Evil.
There we go. So all in all, a great showcase.
Fantastic showcase.
Any closing remarks before we wrap up episode 87?
I'm proud of you, Capcom. I'm proud of the Resident Evil team. I'm proud of what this was. I'm proud of everything I saw. This was fun to watch. It gave me so much hype of what's to come. Keep on pushing it. I'm super, super happy with everything.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm really happy the way Resident Evil's turning. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad that this game is so shrouded in mystery.
That's huge,
right?
And I agree.
Yeah.
Lots of unknown, and I love it.
It'd be a good storyteller. And plus, hopefully there's DLC down the road. We don't know.
Yeah. Just make it work.
Expand it even more, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, just make it work. Make it work. Game will be good.
Yeah. They did a lot of teasers, but they didn't answer questions, which is good. I didn't want any more big reveals, just more mystery. So we'll have a lot to discover in the next coming weeks.
Super stoked.
So as always, appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube, iTunes, wherever you're listening to us, we appreciate it. If you want to hear more, make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening. We've got a few more of these coming out in the next coming weeks. A few interesting ones in some formats we haven't done before, so looking forward to that. So yeah, just thanks for the support as always. Check out our streams. The three of us are all streaming on our own channels, kind of in our little fam network. So, and we just recently started up Fam Sundays, where we all get together every Sunday night for a game. And lately we've been playing Grounded, and it's been a blast.
It's been a good time. Fantastic time.
It's definitely a highlight of the week for sure. Getting us all together to play. So tune in for that. Jump in Discord. Ask us some questions you want to hear answered on our next podcast. And until episode 88, whenever that is, or whatever that might be, hope you guys stay safe and take it easy. We'll see you next time.
Later, guys.
See you, everybody.
Thanks for listening to FAMcast. Be sure to subscribe for the latest episodes and follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and our other socials at For All Manakind.